Today's practice video is going to be a forest yoga class that looks at navigating the hamstrings and the lower back using some forest yoga work and some of the movement modalities that I've been working with for the last little while. When we get past the warm-up and start standing, there are going to be some standing poses, and then you have the option of switching and doing a different video for sun salutations and B series and standing work, or you can finish the class and go straight down to the floor work. So make a good choice, and I hope you enjoy the video. The intent for practice today is to observe when you have the opportunity to make a healing choice in your practice. So sometimes those moments are when you're in a pose and you are struggling and you notice you're starting to cut down on the things that are useful, like deep breathing, active feet, or even just being present. So if you're focusing on other things and starting to bail out before you exit the pose. Other things are noticing when there are chances to modify the pose using any props. So as you move through today's practice, explore being resourceful as something valuable, as an asset. Frequently when I teach workshops around the world and I ask people to use props, there is a resistance to it, as if it means that they are struggling or they are less than. In forest yoga, we use props regardless of practice level. And it isn't about a dependency or a neediness. It is simply about using what is available and making really good choices in that moment. So for today, focus on making really good choices for your yoga practice, observing if and when you are in struggle, and choosing really sensibly around that. We're doing the pranayama in a forward bend. So in a cross-legged position, use your hands behind you to lift your chest up and lean forwards a little bit. Or take the arms forwards and come down onto the elbows. Neck is lengthened. Now at this moment, it isn't about going to your absolute deepest, but also it's not about flopping completely forwards like a little rag doll. Instead, feel for sticking your butt out and scooping your chest forwards with a very slight tuck in the chin. Close your eyes. Take 3 deep ujjayi breaths. So that is the breath that has a whisper quality sound to it by engaging your throat muscles. Now the breath work is going to be doing an inhale till full, exhaling through the mouth, holding the breath when empty, holding for Uddiyana, diaphragm lifts up and stretching the back. Take a deep breath in. Exhale through the mouth. Hold your breath empty. Scoop ribcage forwards, butt stays down. Release the abdomen. Take a deep breath in. Exhale through the mouth. Hold your breath. Stretch the ribs and pelvis, or ribs away from pelvis rather. Release abdomen. Inhale, come up. Change the cross in your legs, so it might be cross-legged, might be half lotus if that's part of your practice. Come back into the forward bend. If you're finding it difficult to keep sit bones anchored, take the hands in front, push with your hands, and this will get you anchoring your sit bones and then suddenly able to lengthen the rib cage out. So we're going for 2 rounds of Uddiyana here, that diaphragm flies up part. Deep breath in. Exhale through the mouth. Hold your breath. Scoop ribs and diaphragm forwards and up. Very slightly stick your butt out. Inhale, release abdomen. Exhale through the mouth. Hold the breath. Stretch ribs and diaphragm forwards and up. Neck is relaxed but not collapsed. Inhale, relax abdomen. Come up from there. For the next part, be sensible about the choices that you're making. In forest yoga, we do seated poses usually at the start of practice, and I like to do single leg versions of forward bends before I get into practice that has more forward bends in it. So from where you are, straighten the right leg forwards. Aim to have the knees open at an angle beyond 90 degrees if possible, so you're feeling like it's almost like a warrior 2 based configuration versus facing the leg, which I would say is more like a warrior 1 based configuration. If it is comfortable for you, you can work with one leg in half virasana, so in heel to butt, but ideally the pelvis feels level here. If it feels like one side of the pelvis is rolling up because it's really tight on that side, foot to the inner thigh is going to work really well. If you've done heel to butt, grab the ankle and lean to the right. If you're working foot to the thigh, left hand above left hip, right arm is coming down into the leg. If you feel you're falling backwards, right hand to the outside of that right leg. Inhale, lift up through low front ribs and collarbones. Exhale, actively reach with the left arm and relax right ear towards right shoulder. Anchor down through both sit bones and breathe in a way that moves the abdominals, especially after all that Uddiyana work. Use your next inhale to move the breath into left side low belly. Exhale, pull belly muscles in, but without lifting up through the left sit bone. Second stage, turn your left palm so the thumb points down, squeeze the left shoulder blade back. I call this crowd control. Inhale, lengthen the ribs towards the front of the mat. Exhale, re-lengthen the underside of the neck, and then re-relax the neck. There might be a little bit more facility for going into the side. If you were holding the ankle, you've obviously, hopefully, let go of the ankle. Spare a little glance for your right foot. Actively reach out through the right ball of the foot so there's some juice going through the leg and the foot. Inhale to lift up through your low front ribs. Exhale, pull belly muscles back. Left arm stays active. Stage 3, side bend. Inhale to bring that left arm up and over so the hand is in line with the shoulder. Exhale, wrap left shoulder blade towards the underarm, so elbows spinning forwards, and reach out through that side without collapsing left ribs down. Left ribs stay lifting. Inhale, lengthen the space from left low ribs down to the left side of pelvis. Exhale, pull belly muscles in, and find left shoulder blade moving a little bit down away from your left ear rather than hiking it up and crossing the arm over your face. Single leg forward bend. Take the hands either side of that leg. Now here you're going to feel a little bit more out of place in the pelvis, so left side a bit more open. That's okay for now. Inhale, lift ribs forwards and up. Exhale, pull with the arms. Perhaps using the hands behind you to push if it feels like you're super tight in your lower back and you feel like there's more of you going backwards than there is going forwards. Inhale, lift up through your low front ribs. Exhale through the mouth for Uddiyana, that diaphragm lift. Hold the breath. Scoop ribs and diaphragm towards your right foot. Neck is lengthened. Inhale, release the abdomen. Walk the hands in and then change legs. Left leg is lengthening, right foot is coming in towards the inner thigh. If it feels like it is a good decision for you to do to bring the heel to the butt, bring the heel to the butt, and it can stay like that through all of the stages, whether it's side bend, forward bend, or any of those. If it feels like one of your choices today is actually foot to inner thigh, acknowledge you've made the choice. Don't just be like, I just can't do the other one. Acknowledge you're choosing this one. So either grab a hold of the right ankle, or right hand is reaching to the right higher than your hips, and bring the left arm down to the inside of the leg, or left hand to the outside of the left thigh if you feel a little bit more restricted in that part of your back. Inhale, lift up through low front ribs. Exhale, glide right shoulder blade down and lengthen left ear towards left shoulder. During neck release poses, it is really common that the breath gets very short. Notice if that is happening and then do something about it. Inhale into right side low belly. Exhale, pull belly muscles in and very slightly up. So not Uddiyana Bandha, but a very subtle action similar to that. Crowd control. Lift the arm up a little bit, turn the right thumb so it points down. Exhale, squeeze your shoulder blade back. So there can be an incredible amount of motion here. Inhale, lengthen left ribs, the underside. Exhale, re-relax left ear towards left shoulder as that right arm reaches back. This arm is aiming to stay active, so you're feeling that shoulder blade. I prefer these to doing a wrap. When I see people do the half wrap, they're grabbing their clothes. It's usually very passive. Let this be a little bit more active. Third stage is side bend. Inhale to rotate that right arm up overhead. Have the palm facing the same direction as your face for now. Exhale, rotate through the right shoulder so the palm faces down. Right elbow spinning towards the front. Inhale, lengthen both sides of the ribs. Exhale, re-soften into the sides of the neck and actively reach out through the left ball of the foot. Breathe in a way that speaks to right side low back, aiming to create space and openness there. Forward bend. Take the hands either side of that left leg. Square off the ribs but not the pelvis. Inhale, lift up through left side low ribs. Exhale, reach left ball of the foot forwards, tuck the chin and lengthen the neck. Now you might find a really great choice to modify here is take the hands behind the line of the hips and push with them to help you feel that forward movement without feeling like you're falling backwards. So for years, I felt like in my forward bends I was doing this like reaching hangle dangle. Use your arms to help lift so you feel like you're up on those sit bones. Do an Uddiyana here. Exhale through the mouth. Hold your breath. Lift the ribs away from your pelvis and lengthen the back of the neck. Inhale, lift up. Take both legs into straddle. Now this next piece isn't technically forest yoga, but I think it's really, really useful. It's like, let's call it weird straddle. Take a little bit of a bend in the legs and have hands behind you so you're up on sit bones. Rotate both legs to the right, so it's a little bit of a squint straddle. So aim is pinky toe of right foot is down, inside the left leg is down. Turn your chest towards your right leg and lift the chest up and over as you lean forwards. It's not possible to have your left sit bone down here unless you're incredibly flexible. Mine isn't. But lean towards that right leg, and your aim is to get some sensations on the outside of the leg, some of those parts that almost feel like they contribute to tightness in the hamstrings. Inhale, lift low front ribs up so your abdomen is coming up away from that right thigh. Exhale, tuck chin to help lengthen the back of the neck. Inhale, bring yourself up, rotate the legs back through center. So remember there's a little bit of a bend. Exhale, rotate the legs left and take your torso with it towards that left side. Inhale, lift ribs. Exhale, fold towards your left thigh. Actively feel for rotating the left thigh wider so the pinky toe is applying pressure down. So you're not moving the leg on the floor wider, but you're rotating to feel like you're pressing that pinky edge down and the outside of that left knee down. Inhale into hips, so feeling abdomen move. Exhale, pull belly muscles in, but scoop the chest forwards. Inhale, bring yourself up from here. Now, as you move through hamstrings and forward bends, moving and articulating the pelvis is going to be incredibly useful. Come on to tabletop. So for example, if you think the back of your legs, all that plumbing is plugging into the bottom of your butt, the sit bone area, when you do the action tuck tailbone down, that area is going to be shortening. When you do the action of opposite, so like tilting the pelvis, you're lifting the sit bones and this area is going to get a little bit more taut. That will make more sense in the forward bends. But for now, let's get some movement there. From all fours, squeeze your hands towards your knees and lift the head slightly. Deep breath in. Without moving your ribs, exhale, tuck the tailbone down, belly pulls in. Inhale, undo that tuck in the tailbone, sticking your butt out. Exhale, actively tuck tailbone down. Inhale, lengthen out through sit bones, so you're undoing that tuck. Exhale, tuck tailbone down. Inhale to release that. Alright. From here, I'm hoping when you are doing the core work, you get a little bit of a feel that when you do that action, tuck tailbone, you feel the pelvis is still on the yoga mat. It isn't completely clearing, and that you can get that lower abdominal engagement. It's going to be really useful. You're coming down for forest yoga abs of the roll. I'm going to be using a block on a medium setting. If you've got anything, a rolled up beach towel, pillows, anything like that that can give you some purchase at the inner thighs, that's going to be marvelous. I'm adding in a second piece to this that is technically not forest yoga, but I find it super helpful when it comes to understanding the pike dynamic. So it is this kind of action that is primarily completely absent from forest yoga practices. You see it a lot in vinyasa flow sessions, but not in forest yoga. Even though, when we handstand, it is very evident. So, come on down, take the legs up. If you're using a block, have more of it hanging out the back, just so that when you do the second action, you're not blocked literally by a block. Hands are clasped behind the head, elbows point up. If you're tight in the back of the legs, work with legs bent so that you are not working with the knees in front of the line of the pelvis, more knees directly above pelvis. Inhale, press the pelvis into the mat. Hold the breath, curl tailbone up, squeeze block. Exhale, head and shoulders lift, underarms lift up towards the ceiling, belly pulls down. Inhale, lay the head down, flex the feet. Hold the breath, curl tailbone up, squeeze block. Exhale, lift head and shoulders up, underarms lift towards the ceiling, belly down. Inhale, head down, repoint the foot, toes spreading. Hold your breath, top of pelvis presses down, curl tailbone up, squeeze block. Exhale, head and shoulders lift, underarms lift towards the ceiling, belly down. Inhale, lay the head down, flex the feet, last one like this. Hold the breath, curl tailbone up, squeeze block. Exhale, lift head and shoulders up, underarms lift towards the ceiling, belly down. Inhale, lay head down. Reach back up through the ball of the foot. This time, after you have done the tucking the tailbone, not yet, you'll be piking the legs towards chest without using momentum. Inhale, press pelvis down. Hold the breath, curl tailbone up, squeeze block. Exhale, lift head and shoulders up, and then squeeze your knees towards your underarms, pulling the belly down. Inhale, legs come straight back up, head down, flex the feet. Hold the breath, curl tailbone up, squeeze block. Exhale, head and shoulders lift, squeeze the legs towards you without using momentum, it's not about speed. Inhaling, legs come back up, reach up through the ball of the foot, head down. Hold your breath in, curl tailbone up, squeeze block. Exhale, head and shoulders lift, curl tailbone a bit more, and then squeeze your legs towards your head. Inhale, legs are back up, feet flexing, head down. Hold the breath, curl tailbone up, squeeze block. Exhale, head and shoulders lift, squeeze legs towards your body, pull belly down. Inhale, legs come back up, head down, then set your feet down. Keep whatever is at your inner thighs for bridge. You might need to change its orientation. Slide your shoulders so you're picking one shoulder up, sliding it down away from the ear, and then palm faces up. Other side, shoulder blade pulls down, and then arms down. Exhale, press into active feet, tuck tailbone, squeeze the block, pause. Inhale, breastbone scoops towards your head. Exhale, maintain all the different activations but lift pelvis up. Low back tweaky, grab your pelvis and physically pull your pelvis away from your ribs. Inhale, stretch rib cage towards the back of your mat. Exhale, squeeze your heels towards your head, legs active, feet phenomenally active. I find it useful if you put your hands on the upper part of your breastbone. Inhale to lift this section of your chest towards the back of the mat. You can feel if you were effective with your own arms. Shoulders ideally are relaxed. Take another deep breath here. Exhale, lower down to your shoulders, your mid-back, your low back, and then set your pelvis down. Remove the block, set it out of the way, or anything else that you were using. Set the right foot a little bit further away, bring your left knee into your chest. Hold on to the thigh and gradually work your legs straighter. So it doesn't matter if it's straight. Ideally, go for the thigh really close to your ribs as you work the leg straight and point the foot. More flexible day, right leg straightens along the mat, reaching out through the ball of the foot. Inhale, lengthen your ribs towards the back of the mat. Exhale, pull with your arms, but push your leg bone out against your hands. Still doing that active reach through the ball of the foot. So it should feel interesting to the back of that leg. Our aim at the minute is to create some sensation, but not anything too staggering. You might find tailbone starts to curl up off the mat. Do the opposite action and very slightly stick your butt out, and you should feel that brings a little bit more tension into the back of the leg. Stage 2. Exhale, flex that right foot in the air so you begin to get into the calves and down into the lower body. Steady out your breathing. More flexible day, you might be able to reach up and take a hold of the foot, drawing the leg in towards your chest a little bit more. See what feels relevant for you. Remember, if you have a strap, you can also strap a hold of that foot or the leg to make the grip a little bit easier, as the shoulders and neck should be pretty relaxed. Change legs. Put the right foot a relaxed distance away from you and bring the other knee into your chest. Squeeze the leg in, pelvis is down, and then gradually work that leg straighter, reaching out through the ball of the foot. So the heel is pulling towards the back of that knee. Opposite leg reaches away, lengthening out through that foot. Those of you that have a lot of outward rotation in your thighs, you need to do a little bit of a course correction to bring that leg back in. Inhale, press the leg into your hands and begin to work the leg to that point of interest. If your healing decision is to use a strap or to modify in some way, go ahead and do that. Grab what you need. If you're advancing, maybe that is one of your choices. You can work the hands a little bit further up and just see what feels good for you. Stage 2, exhale, flex the foot beginning to get into the back of the knee, the calves, and some of the tension that is there. Because we do so much active feet, I find it really useful to do some in a point place, some in a flex place, to get into some of these other areas. Alright, release that leg, set the feet flat, roll onto your left hand side, and then use your arms to come up from the ground with a relaxed neck. Left hand on the side of the head brings the head up. Moving into dolphin with either the hands clasped if your shoulders feel tight or tweaky, or forearms parallel. If you're doing hands clasped, you can still totally do dolphin with one leg up and with the leg bent. If you are going to take one hand off the floor, ideally that's from parallel. I don't like what I see when I see people shift from 2 forearms at a diagonal to 1. They tend to really dump into that shoulder. Forearms parallel to one another, you're able to create a really effective brace with that shoulder while the other arm explores where it's going, and it'll be reaching up to grab a hold of the foot. Come down onto your elbows. Grab the upper arms to measure the elbow distance, and then either clasp the hands or set forearms parallel. Remember, if you're doing forearms parallel, but they don't look very parallel, go for hands clasped. Inhale, lift up the section of spine between your shoulder blades. Exhale, flex chest muscles, elbows squeeze towards each other, and then tuck toes, lifting the knees up. Whichever version you're doing, bend both knees a little bit and feel for pointing the sit bones up to lengthen out through your lower back. Switch deep breathing on. Using your breath to move ribs and the abdomen. Inhale, lift the left leg skywards. Ideally, pelvis is staying as level as possible. Now you can stay here. If you want to go a bit further, then maybe the right hand starts to reach up to grab a hold of that leg. So this is called dorsal fin. If you fall over, that happens. It doesn't mean you can never do the pose again. Just come back in and then tread super carefully because it has a very high splat rate and very, very wobbly. If you have the left leg up, release the leg down, set the knees down and reset the forearms. So coming back to parallel or hands clasped. So this may be one of those choice points. Maybe this side is hands clasped. Inhale, lift between shoulder blades. Exhale, squeeze chest muscles, tuck toes, lift the knees up. Inhale, lift the right leg skywards. Now you can stay here or bend that leg. Left arm begins its journey backwards to hold onto that right foot. And once you get the foot, kick it back a little bit. So there's tension between those 2 points. Breathing tends to go. So remember when in struggle, breathing goes, active feet goes, lifting out the shoulders, all those things. You start getting a bit scattered. Do deep breathing instead. Inhale, release the right leg down, set both hands down, and then set the knees down. Moving into forward bend. Set the feet down, go for feet about hip distance apart, bend the legs enough that your chest can rest on your thighs, fold the arms and hang down over the legs. This is going to give you an opportunity to navigate what's going on in the hamstrings. Bend the legs enough that ribs rest on thighs, and then intentionally stick your butt upwards. From the forward bend, release the arms, and then roll up towards standing. Once you get up, get a feel for doing tuck tailbone unders, and then neutral, and then very slightly sticking your butt out, and then back to neutral. In this next part, the body likes to do a bit of a bending in the knees, a bit of tuck tailbone, a bit of rounding in the back, or all of them. I want you to feel that the weight and the bones are shifting towards your heels. I like to do these before I go deeper into forward bends, and I'm hoping you get a feel for these. It's going to be quad extension, but also getting a feel for how you can move through the back of your leg. Shift the weight onto your right foot, but without toppling over. Exhale, lift the left knee up. With the left knee lifted, very slightly stick your butt out so you feel you're directly on top of that right heel. Initially, just feel left side low belly is active. If it isn't, just feel for lifting that knee up without rounding your back. Deep breath in. Exhale, straighten the left leg. So it might be straight out in front. It might be that your hip prefers straight leg down, especially if you rounded or bent your right leg to create the length in the left leg. So from where you are, deep breath in. Exhale, extend the leg. Inhale, bend it. Exhale, extend. Chest is lifting. Inhale, bend. Exhale, straighten that leg out. Inhale, bend. Put that leg down. If you need to bend the knees or do any little wiggles you need to, go ahead and do that. Shift the weight onto the left foot. Shift the weight back towards your left heel. Exhale, lift the right knee up. Pause here. If you fall over, simply get back up, or you can always take a hold of the wall. You're still going to get a lot out of this for core and hip flexors with stabilization at the wall. Deep breath in. Exhale, extend the right leg forwards. Inhale, bend it. Watching out for tucked tailbone, bending legs and rounding forwards. Exhale, extend the leg. Inhale, bend. Exhale, extend the leg. Inhale, bend it. Exhale, extend. Inhale, bend it. Turn yourself towards the side of your mat. Going for feet about 3 feet apart. And moving into a straddle forward bend. That Uddiyana thing we did with the diaphragm earlier, we'll repeat it here. Inhale, lift chest. Exhale, bend the knees and begin to stick your butt out. Bring the forearms onto your thighs. Inhale, lengthen the ribs away from hips. Exhale, articulate pelvis by pointing your butt upwards. You should feel low back muscles, butt muscles having to fire up, and then release the arms down. Do an Uddiyana. Big exhale through the mouth. Hold your breath. Lengthen ribs and diaphragm down towards the floor and neck relaxed. Release the abdomen. Deep breath in. Exhale through the mouth. Hold your breath. Lengthen ribs and diaphragm down towards the floor, neck relaxed. Release the abdomen. Shift the weight towards your heels. Roll up towards standing. Bring the arms up so you can get a little bit of support from your rib cage. Exhale, bring hands together at chest. Heel toe the feet towards each other. Have your feet so they are about hip distance apart. Toes are pointing forwards. Step your right foot back about 3 feet. So you go about 3 feet lengthways, 1 foot widthways, and turn the pelvis forwards. Now remember, we did poses very much like this at the start of practice. Inhale, lift chest for pyramid. Exhale, tilt the pelvis. So feel how if you stick your butt out, you can get that action. Hands on the left thigh. Inhale, scoop your chest forwards away from your pelvis. Exhale, stick your butt out. Now the left leg, feel for pressing into the foot and dragging your left foot back towards the back of the mat. So massive engagement into your hip. Do an Uddiyana here, playing with the abdominal pressure. Exhale through the mouth. Hold your breath. Lengthen ribs and diaphragm forwards. Release abdomen. Another round like that. Exhale through the mouth. Release the abdomen, bend the left leg, come up and step the right foot forwards. Second side, left leg steps back, square the hips forwards. I'm hoping that felt really interesting for your hamstrings. Square hips and shoulders towards the front of your mat, hands on hips. Inhale, lift ribs up. Exhale, articulate the pelvis by sticking your butt out and begin to walk your hands down your leg onto your thigh, maybe down onto your shin if that's more comfortable, but without rounding the back. Draw the right leg back towards the back of the room, really firing up into the hamstrings. Inhale, lengthen chest forwards. Exhale through the mouth for Uddiyana. Hold the breath. Stretch ribs and diaphragm forward. Stick your butt out, hips are level. Release abdomen. Another one like that. Big exhale. Release abdomen. All right, bend the right leg, step forwards. So from here, I'm going to wrap the practice up for today. If you find that this is getting into your hamstrings, go ahead and do some sun salutations, maybe some B series and some inversion work if that feels good for you, or any supine forward bends, so you're kind of doing a bit of a bolt on for practice. Otherwise, come down onto your back. Coming down into dead bug, lie down onto the back, bring your knees so the knees are wider than the ribs, and send the soles of the feet up towards the ceiling so the legs are at a 90-degree angle to the floor. Arms are the insides of the thighs but hold the outside of the feet. Pull down onto the feet. At the same time, press your pelvis into the mat. So it's actually very slightly that action of sticking your butt out, but in relation to the ground. Tuck the chin to help lengthen the back of the neck, but the head is down. Switch this on by pressing the feet into the hands, pulling the hands into the feet so you feel the back of the legs get a little bit of something. Now you can either stay here, working deep breathing, or maybe one of your choices is start to straighten one leg and then the other, or both, just getting curious. If your pelvis curls up off the floor, I feel like that creates a very different type of pose. So feet are in the hands, pelvis is down, head is down. Alright, release the feet, set the feet to the floor. When I do a forward bending practice, I prefer to do my Shavasana with the feet wide and the knees resting together. And what this does is it allows a little bit of curve to come into the lower back, and the SI joints, if you're taking any strain, get a little bit of inward rotation just to help create a sense of space there. Draw the arms down away from your ears. Any other position or props you wish to use, feel free to grab them. Take the breath out of Ujjayi, so it's more a resting quality breath, and enjoy being still for a few moments. Begin to deepen your breath. As you deepen your breath, allow yourself to be aware of any of the decisions that you've made that felt really good in your practice, whether it was to use props, or you navigated yourself in a different way than before. Take some movement into fingers and toes, and then roll to your left. Use your arms to come up from the ground with your neck relaxed, and choose a comfortable sitting position. It might be cross-legged, might even be sitting on the block. Once you're up, do the work of getting up a little bit more onto your sit bones. All that work we've done today has been really about that. And then bring hands together at chest. Take a huge breath in. Exhale, bow forwards. Namaste.